Hello, welcome to this edition of Pillows on Prayer. We are going to be looking at the bracha of Shema Kolenu. It's sort of like almost the catch-all bracha. It's the last bracha where we make requests of God, the 13th of the brachos that we make requests, and it's sort of asking God to accept all of our prayers, not without anything specific. We're not asking for Yerushalayim or for health or for wealth, but sort of just to accept all of our prayers. And there are two themes to this bracha, and they're fascinating. The first one is that God listens to our prayers. Now, what does that mean, that God listens to our prayers? Generally, we're not so concerned if God is listening, but whether God will answer. And people say, I don't know if God hears my prayers. It's not so much they're concerned with if God is hearing them, but whether God is going to answer yes. Onkelos, which our famous translator, says that the word shomea means to be makabel, to accept. And that's the idea that God accepts our prayers. God doesn't reject our prayers. It doesn't mean that God says yes, but when we say that Hashem is shomea tefillah, it means He accepts our prayers. And we see this at the time of when we were in Egypt as slaves. It says that God answered, God heard our prayers because of the zechut avos, because of the merit of our forefathers. Something that we've discussed in the past, that we sort of approach this prayer with the merit of our forefathers, not just our own merit. So to be makabel, as Onkelos says, to accept, means to believe, and that's the idea that Hashem accepts that the words that we've said until this point, as Hashem is the shomea tefillah, the one that accepts our prayers, He accepts that we're genuine, that these requests that we're making, these needs that we have, are our genuine needs, and that we actually mean what we're saying. This isn't just words that we're throwing out. So that's our first theme, is that God accepts our prayers. He's the shomea tefillah, He accepts them. The second idea, interesting, is the difference between two forms of prayer. One is called tefillah, which is our regular prayer, what the term we generally use, and another form of prayer is tachnunim. Tachnunim is, in English, is translated as supplications, but the English does us nothing. It doesn't help us at all in understanding what the difference is between tefillah and tachnunim. And tefillah, in both of them, we ask God to accept our tefillot in this bracha, and we ask God to accept our tachnunim. So what's the difference? What are we asking God? So tefillah is when we approach God and say, God, here are my priorities. This is what's important to me, and the reason why these things are important to me are because I need them to serve you. So I need my health, because without a healthy body, I can't serve you. And I need wealth, because without being able to feed myself and my family, I won't be able to serve you. So those are tefillot. Tachnunim say, God, I don't deserve anything. I can't even say that I need these things, and therefore please give them to me so that I could serve you better. Tachnunim says, I have no chance of meriting your providence to be able to have what I need. So I'm just begging. Tachnunim, famously from the Sedra of Et Chanan, from when Moshe stood and prayed to God to be allowed in to Eretz Yisrael, which was rejected, the prayers. I mean, the prayers weren't rejected, but the answer was no. Moshe wasn't saying because I deserve it. He was saying them as Tachnunim, which is why it's called Ve'et Chanan. He was saying that, please, I know I don't deserve to come into Israel, but just please, God, let me come in. That's the difference. So let's get to the words of the bracha. We say, Shema Kolenu, God, hear our voices, accept them. Hashem Elokeinu, you are our God who we follow. Chus v'rachem aleinu, please just have mercy on us. We know justice alone will not merit us to have our request that we've made until this point be accepted. We say v'kabel barachamim uveratzon es tefilosenu, and please answer our prayers in mercy, because we know we need that we don't deserve these to be answered. So with mercy, please approach us to be able to answer our prayers. And again, it's not literal mercy. We're not saying that God should suspend justice, because that's a ridiculous request, because God doesn't suspend justice. But we're saying that the answer that God should give us, and the granting of our prayers, should be done in a way that we would perceive it as mercy, because it would be just so generous and so surprising to us in comparison to what we deserve. So that's the idea of asking God in mercy to hear our prayers. Ki el shomei tefillos v'sachlun lamata, because you are the one that hears prayers and these tachlun, these supplications that have no merit. And as we stand in front of you, God, please don't let us go empty-handed. Don't let us return from these prayers empty-handed. We want to be able to have results from these prayers. Because you listen to prayers with rachamim, meaning with the mercy that we accept. And then we end off the bracha with the chasima, baruch Hashem, God, you are the source of all blessing, shomei tefillah, the one that does hear our prayers. Okay, that's this edition of Pillows on Prayer.